Welcome to the Bridge by Three. My name is Candace.
I'm Kanisha.
And I'm Kayla.
And we are back.
Yes.
I guess you can consider this our second season.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I like
Definitely.
that.
I love that.
Yes,
Mhm,
you
for
can
sure.
consider this our second season. We're very excited to be back and
So
talking to
excited.
you guys. As you can see, our background is a little bit different now. We had some life been lifing, and we had some changes that had to be made, but all is well and everything happens for a reason, and we are living in that and we are feeling that.
Yes.
And we are embodying that, right? So
100%.
today we are checking the pulse. Basically, we are in 2025 now, and so much has happened, is happening, so much we're feeling, so much we're receiving, so much we're pushing away, maybe,
for sure.
right? In
Yeah.
some cases.
In some cases.
So
yeah.
right now, today what we want to do is we want to just check the pulse, right? Our own. How
Yes.
are we feeling, right? In the state of the world right now. I will start by saying, state of the world. I don't even know what to start with. I mean, I don't know.
That's a heavy one. It's a heavy
I don't
one.
know if I need to be worried about. Well, I am worried about all these things. I'm worried about alien invasion. I'm worried about living check to check. I'm worried about mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the person who is the president right now and all that is happening with that. I'm worried about just people
Right.
and people's well-being, the wellness of people, the mental health of people, the spiritual feeling of people, the vibe of the world. Like I'm really worried about all of that. It's kind of a feeling for me like the end of something is near, kind of, in a way. But even with that, for me, there's still like a feeling that we need this. Like as if it's a cleanse or something that
Absolutely.
That's a good way of
that
putting
is
it.
happening, that we're experiencing. And as much as it's scary, I'm kind of all for it because
Need
I
it.
feel like
Need it.
we need this, bro. And it's
Yeah.
gonna be, and whatever's on the other side, I can't say I know how it's gonna look. I can't say, I know how it's gonna feel. I can only say that it's gonna be growth.
It is going to be growth. I definitely
And
agree
that's
with
what
that.
that's what I'm feeling right now.
I want to mention, because I feel like I'm going to lose this if I don't say it now,
Come on.
that I saw something that was like, in this time, like we are changing so much, and especially millennials were the first people to sort of push through this gap of not getting the experience that they were promised in the American dream that was built. And the Real was talking about how, as a collective, we are grieving the lives that we thought that we would have, and that the lives that we thought it would look like. It is no longer going to look like what we were promised and what's in the rhetoric around getting a house. A lot of Gen Z is not going to be house owners in the same time frame that like past generations were house owners. That is such a psychological impact that is so widely spread that it is a collective grief. So I loved what that woman said in the Reel. Hopefully I can link it in the description. And just acknowledging that we are grieving what, because we don't know what it's going to feel like on the other side. And that part of that death cycle that, and something that personally I've been dealing with, and when it comes to mental health, is learning about the cycles of things and death and life cycles and the start of a new beginning, if you're into tarot or anything like that. Or astrology even. Just so many factors or little like snippets of things where you can understand like the start of a beginning is destruction. And completely building it down to build it back up. And breaking it down to build it back up. Things are burning.
Literally.
Literally. And there are a lot of there's rhetoric around
It's
Catholicism.
not funny. I'm sorry to laugh.
Well, actually,
it's not funny.
I don't
I'm
think
not
you were
laughing
laughing because it's
like
funny, but
oh,
it's the essence of what's happening.
Yeah.
In reality, in retrospect, and as you were saying about like building and burning and all those things, I'm thinking about like the process that a diamond goes through. You know, and it goes through the furnace and it burns, and the end result of it all is like this beautiful piece of stone that you hold in your hand. And to the point of you saying as far as like a cleansing, what came to mind is like anyone that was comfortable or just lacking in motivation or that push, this whole situation that we have upon us is literally pushing us. Because I definitely know I am definitely in that era of my life or that time of my life right now where things are pushing me to come out of my element, my comfort zone, my sense of security, you can say. That is like really like shifting me to like, okay, you can't stay here because here is not growth. Here you're being stagnant. Here you're being suffocated. And I'm like, okay, don't like it, doesn't feel good. Change, of course, don't feel good at any point in life, but it is necessary for you to get to the next phase and stage. And so as daunting as it may be with everything happening, I think if anything, it's like opening our minds to see what we need to do next and how to prepare for that. It's like even coming here, I'm like, okay, let me take a moment and breathe. But what does it entail? For me, I went out, I did a 15-minute workout, didn't want to do it, excuse me. But in doing that, it just gave me a sense of clarity, a sense of calmness, a sense of peace. And I was like, okay, I can tackle what's ahead of me, and it comes back to the point you made as far as like a cleansing, a rebirth really and truly, and so I feel like when you work out or whatever it is, meditation, you tend to feel a sense of, okay, a newness, and whatever is ahead of you, I can conquer it. Though it might be challenging, you can conquer it, giving yourself that space to do so.
The newness, like that part, we are in the new year, and I still, we go back to our last New Year's episode where we were talking about starting a new year in the dead of winter, but this is we were talking about fire and cleansing.
Yeah,
the first sign of the zodiac, the first start of the year is fire, is Aries, is passion and light, and everything. The lower chakras, the root and the foundation of everything is the start of the springtime and the start of the new year. And so and also winter is a time for reflection and a time for letting go and a part of that destruction phase of the death cycle. And I just love the excitement of newness, and I think that this generation, people that were in school during COVID, or even if you're Gen Alpha, like, you guys have been through so much change, and we need to understand that in life, that is the only thing that is promised, is change.
Wow, Kayla,
and
because
you have to
I
be
live
there.
by that.
You have to grow.
I really, really, and this is something, honestly, that I'm a Gemini, June Gemini. This is something that I believe Geminis really take hold of, and we actually encompass that. And it's harder for a lot of other people too. Like, I live by that, and I've learned, and I've learned to be okay with the fact that the only thing consistent
that's true.
is
People
change.
have to grieve that
true.
as well. That
It's
fact.
true.
Yeah.
People have to grieve that.
But for me, it's such a part of my everyday being. And I'm an air sign, so it's just like I just let it flow. But I have this understanding that, yeah, okay, I could be way up here now and feeling like I'm on cloud 9, but I know at some point there's going to be a little drop, you know. I'm not saying I got to go all the way down and hit rock bottom. However, like there will be a little drop. Everything is not going to maintain consistency, even in the aspect of the flip side of looking at that is, if I'm down here now, I ain't got nowhere to go but up, right? Like that's gonna change, and like that's where the hope comes in. That's where the push, the drive, right, to get to the end of that line, goal, whatever it is, the road, like to get there, and then it just becomes about the energy that you have to put in on a daily basis to do the pushing through.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
work.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Meeting myself 100%. Me and my mom, and that's another thing, because it can go the opposite way. You can be in one moment and feel like, oh, I don't have the best relationships, or maybe you feel like there's something lacking. Any feeling of lacking in the next moment could be a feeling that it could be alchemically switched. Like you can just alchemize it with a thought of, I'm just gonna allow this to flow. I'm gonna allow this to be what it is, or what I want it to be. I will allow it to be what I want it to be. I want to be best friends with my mom, and I've always wanted that. And now I feel like in one moment I was feeling a certain way, and then the next moment, like, we're just gabbing and we're just at this new level of evolution, and I didn't even realize that we got here. And it's like, when did we get here, you know? And even those, like, those are the blessings, those are the opposite spectrum of that lesson, because it's so important to understand that evolution is going to happen either way. And the speed, okay, the speed with which America is evolving. We now are the chosen ones. We were born in this generation for a reason. We are capable of like using history as a blueprint and making change and bettering whatever we have to work off with. Like 10xing whatever we have, being visionaries and creating what's on the other side instead of being scared or fearful of, or judgmental of it, and play a part in it. And in order to play a part in it, you have to have self-validation. You have to feel secure. You have to feel safe. Yes, and I reached a point where you're in a space where maybe you don't feel safe on Earth, whether it is within society hierarchy, whether it is within your own body. If you have a chronic illness, you may feel like people are against you, again, with the lacking mindset. Right. You have to watch where you feel like you're not enough or you don't have enough, because that's not true. That's not the truth, but it is your truth and it is your reality, because
you make it so.
You make it so.
Yeah, I think that one thing that people, and I try to encourage people to understand too, is everything is about your perception of the situation.
That is so true.
Everything. How is it that however many people can watch a same thing or even be experiencing the same thing, but there's can be as many different perceptions of what it is that they're going on or what they are experiencing. And why is that? Because to me, it boils down to the glass half cup, the cup half full or half empty. You know, it's about how you choose to see it.
That is so true.
And we also need to understand that it is a choice.
It really is.
And it might be a choice. It might be to the point where, if you notice, you might lean always towards, the glass is half empty. Maybe you consciously now have to put forth that effort to think the opposite way.
Exactly.
And then, as I always say, fake it till you make it a little bit. And
no, seriously.
Because, we can't just think that, once we see a phrase, right? Oh, we agree with it. We love this. This is me. Okay. But are you walking the walk every day? No. Not
are you
necessarily.
Implementing it?
Yes.
No.
And it might take time. If it doesn't come natural to you, that's something that might take time. That's why affirmations work for people. Right? Like just repeating the same things, which I say words are spells, words are powerful, therefore do that, right?
And repetition is neuroscience. It's how the brain learns. It's how you build new neurons, new connections, new experiences. Look up the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic, very important to calming yourself, because also we have this mind, right? This powerful thoughts. And then we also have this emotional experience, and a part of going through life is not letting your emotions drive you, but being in your humanness and knowing that you have the mental power to implement and choose and be who you want to be. So that change, that promised change, that excitement of the future is life force energy. Potential, in my opinion, is life force energy fully. And the unknown is complete life force energy because we are co-creators with whoever you believe in. We are creators. And that's what she's talking about with the thought process. So it's like, I love that. Yeah, you're just like you attributed to being a Gemini, but also like key aspects of your personality, your humanness, which I would say is another aspect of how you're able to balance the mind and like the heart. And I just think that, you know, when we think of possibility, my gosh, in my life, possibility was it. Like, it was the potential. That's what I was living for, the possibility. And
now it's time.
Now
Now it's time.
it's time.
The time is now.
And time is nigh.
Yes.
There's so many things that you said. I think, like, starting back as far as like checking the pulse, right? And I'm like, then of course, then the thought came to mind. We are literally in Black History Month, right? Though that might be a possibility off
Well, you know, but
the spectrum of things.
as we already know, we're very used to not being included in
Right.
shit, so we gonna do it anyway. We
right. I was like, why should it stop because someone say so?
we're
right?
used to that.
We need to continue it, you know, and in doing so, I feel like give honor to those that paved the way for why we're here today. And one person came to mind because I really loved his story, Booker T. Washington. I'm like, this man came into the world with literally nothing. He walked miles and miles to school to get his education. Like, he literally did not allow being born as a slave and into poverty to stop him from pursuing his dreams or going after his desires. And he left a legacy behind that still lives on today. And for some reason, like, his story just keeps replaying in my mind. I'm like, okay, if he did it and walked further on foot to wherever he had to go, he didn't have the comfortability of riding on a bus, riding on a train, or anything of that nature, you know, jumping in an Uber, all the things that, you know, I'm like, okay, why is this Uber taking so long? I'm like, I would have to be on foot back then. I'm just like, what am I complaining about here? Or what am I, you know, making noise about?
Count your blessings.
Right,
and
honestly. And so I'm just like, if he did it and left the legacy behind coming into this world with literally nothing, absolutely nothing, I might have a little something. So let me see if I can build off that and, you know, also leave a legacy behind. And so just checking the pulse is like, all right, where we are mentally. And, you know, I know that the saying is like, okay, we don't necessarily check up on others and see how they do it and so forth and other. But, and it's not like a cliche thing, but I think it's really important even more so now to really just simply check in, just saying, hello, how you doing? Now, granted, sometimes that could be taken like, you might just give a one-liner, or can I just have an open-ended, like, regurgitate like everything that's happening? Because sometimes, depending who's asking, you're like, I'm just going to say I'm okay. But in retrospect, I'm like, girl, or whomever.
I love those talks.
This is what's going on with me. And, you know, because it's like, who wants to truly listen? And that's the next thing, too. And I mean, that is so true. and, you know, checking your own pulse as well as your loved ones around you, it's so key to really have that sense of community, to really huddle around you and really say, I'm here for you.
And I think that's what people are getting back to now more than ever, community.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, when I say community, I'm talking in the sense of like like-minded individuals aligning based on whatever, based off of vibrations, based off of frequency. You know, in my life, what's been happening is people who are not meant to be are exiting stage left, and I'm like, oh, okay, bye. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even know. Oh, okay. And it's not leaving me feeling any different.
No.
You know, it's not leaving me feeling like I'm missing something. Like, I mean, it's actually leaving me like, okay, one less thing to think about. You know, like
Right. I want less
honestly-
life to having to like, okay, I'm responsible for whatever's going on in it.
Right. Right.
Because sometimes you can feel that way when you have like, I don't know how people do it with a lot of friends. Honestly, I'm like, God knew what I can handle. Because I'm just like, because I feel like if you're one of those friends that are fully invested, like you really like take that seriously. So if you have like 20 other individuals along with the life that you already have in your family, that's a lot of bodies to really think about. Like, let me check up on so and so and so and so. Not that it's not possible, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So kudos to those who have a plethora of friendships. I'm like, yeah, the smaller the better, the tighter the knit, you know, because
Yeah.
it could be overwhelming.
And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a social butterfly, and I'm at the point where I'm working from home. Yay, very
Yeah,
happy about that.
seriously.
Happy about
Traveling is
that.
not the move.
Right. Happy about that. Happy about that because I get to like conserve some of my energy for myself.
That
Because
keyword right there.
naturally, I'm a person that I give energy as soon as I'm around another person, and that takes a toll. You know, even if the outcomes are positive or whatever, it just takes a toll. And then, you know, on top of that, when you give, and then you have to deal with people who are not vibrating on the same frequency as you, and they're pretty low vibrational. And when you have to encounter those type of beings on a regular basis, it can take you off your course, you know,
That's so
off of your spiritual course or whatever course of action you're taking. And, you know, I'm on a constant path of growth, and it just reached a point where I also don't like to see injustices, you know, and I'm tired of being around things that are unfair, and unfair things happening to people around me, unfair treatment happening to me, you know, having to fight and go through drama and threaten and bring the bitch out just for me to
Constantly.
get what it is that I was supposed to get, you know, like
to systems, like to
Why does
systems
it have
set
to get
in
to
place.
that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know,
That's
I've
exhausting.
definitely been in a place of harboring my own energy and only giving it to those few people who are in my little circle, and building that, fostering that, like making that as powerful as it can be, and just continuing that, you know. But I'm definitely not giving it all away. Like, this is not the time. Like, I feel like we're at a time where something's ending, and if you didn't get the memo by now, and if you're not on any type of the same page as I am, you know, with the way you need to be living our life, and, you know, just how to be and being the best you, basically. Like, if you're not at a point where you're trying to be the best version of you, stay where you're at, and
Right.
I'm going to be where I'm at with
Right.
my people, and
Yeah.
that's how we're going to move it, because just can't.
Yeah.
Just can't.
Yeah, I'm with that, with the conserving your energy. I mean, it really is so important, because when you give so much of yourself, I mean, it can be so draining that you don't even realize it, because you're constantly a person that give and give and give. And those that don't realize how much you're giving, they're like, okay.
Take.
Right. They're like, oh, what's the matter with you? I'm
Right.
like, do you not understand what I've been doing? You know? And so conserving your energy is not selfish. It's really self-love. Like, you know, I can give but so much, and no is okay today. I might be able to help you tomorrow, but today I just can't. And not feeling guilty about that, and not making someone make you feel guilty about that.
That's right.
You know, because it's like, then do you truly love me?
That's right.
You know, are you looking out for my best interest? And if that's not the case, like you said, it's like, okay, I see we're not on the same, you know, wavelength, the same energy, you know, mindset. Like, we have to like circle back and reset and figure out which direction we're gonna take. But this is not it, you
Right.
know? And when you brought up our last podcast about like just the winter season and what that means, I think it was a book or a quote that you mentioned as far as like the hibernation process. And it's a time, I think it was like spring is for this and then winter is for that. When you were touching up on it earlier, I was like, it just brought me back to how you stated it in the last New Year's Eve podcast. I was like, yeah, that's pretty much kind of the mindset we're in, right? Ideally, a time for like just reflecting and just looking back and what we need to do going forward, because that spring approach, we're going to be going forward into like taking on whatever is ahead of us, you know. And so I feel like if no one is like at that point and thinking that way, they need to literally start thinking that way and preparing fast, because moves need to be happening, and it's going to happen without you. So you need to like meet it where it's at or exceed it, because I'm
That's right.
That
You know,
part. And
yeah.
it's like you can't miss something that was stopping me from letting my procrastination take over is the fact that if I don't do what I'm called to do now, it's not that I will miss my calling completely, but I will miss the time. I will miss the time mark. That God, or whoever you want to say, Spirit, it is aligned. And it's all based off of me and what I choose to do. But at a certain point, I had reoccurring journal entries, identical affirmations, years apart, where I'm like, and this is why I love journaling and why I recommend it to anyone, because you really learn about yourself that you don't even know, that something that you would write off as, oh, like this is some fun hobby, or this is something I could do a little fun. No, this is something you need to take seriously, because you've been saying the same exact thing for years.
Right, you're supposed to be able to check this off your list by now, and it's still there.
Yes.
And it's like you have this vision that you need, and then that's another thing, and I said this to you the other day. Your desires need you as much as you want it. Okay? And it's a thing of, you have to see if you really even want it, or if you're scared to want it, because then there's that fear of success. A part of a procrastination is like a fear of failure, yes, but that fear of success and needing to translate and needing to bring whatever your desire is and create into this tangible world. And that is a struggle, and that is a process. And when we talk about the time and the technology that we have and how fast it evolves, you know, I'm someone that wants to study AI. And that's something that I decided within the last year. And that's because this is a part of it now, okay?
Yeah,
this is a part of
where we're at.
What's happening.
I try to be far away from it. I'm scared of it.
And I felt like that for a long time, and I'm like, no, I have to
alien part comes. Like,
I have to I have to feel confident in it, because you know, I'm sure people felt the same way about phones. And you know, when you look at YouTube, okay, and then the growth of these social media platforms and the growth of TikTok within the last 5 years, no, we need to be looking at it, especially when you want to make money and like learn, and like generative AI. I just think that's very lucrative. But you know what?
I'm scared of the AI take over. Like I go back to, what was that?
But we have to have trust.
Oh, not Enemy of the State.
iRobot.
iRobot.
Oh, okay.
I go back to iRobot. I'm like,
No,
that was telling us something.
Right, that's what
you
telling
know,
us what's
like
what's
I
ahead.
go to just thinking of how it's too much. Like they're really like, that's really happening now.
Right.
In places, people that got money, robots are maids, like robots are companions, like shit is scary.
So I need to know how to like take it apart, take apart a robot,
that's what
and like I need the knowledge. That's what
I want to get ahead of.
That's how I am, and I realized I had to.
I want to know what I gotta unscrew to deactivate.
What coding language do I have to brush up on? Okay.
No, honestly,
okay.
Technology and all that.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just like, probably because of my age, I'm like, could we just go back to dial the phones? I know, probably it's a little bit.
One. Did she say that? I mean, it'd be fun now. At this point, it'd be just fun to have and do that. But
oh my gosh,
thanks. I don't want to go that far back.
Okay, probably not that far back, but just even, you know why I kind of went there, because I'm thinking about the Omni card. I'm like, oh my
girl, that's another thing.
world.
That part.
Even that, I'm like, we gotta transition from the Metro card to the Omni card,
and then the
I'm
student
about
card?
to ask my mother. All right, well, how do I wait? Yeah, the student card, they're just tapping. I'm like, wait, what?
I'm like,
very intimidating for me.
Yes.
I don't know what to do next.
Right.
I'm scared for when the transition happens.
I'm praying that it doesn't happen fully because I'm like,
I think
and
it is. MetroCards is going
I know.
out
I
the
see the
window.
machine slowly like being replaced, but it's
Metrocards
literally
going out
it's
the
just
window.
frustrating because I'm like, okay, and then the workers that are there, they're like, they literally have but so much clue. I'm like, so how do you?
Dude, they can't help you. They don't got money. They
Right.
don't got.
I'm like,
they can't
so
give
how,
you change.
how do you?
They can't. They
I'm
can't
like,
do nothing.
how do you do this? They're like, well, yeah, follow
Yeah, and
those
then the machine
instructions.
looks so intimidating. Oh my god, I
it's-
haven't even walked up to it yet.
And the
I'm like,
borders, the borders on the. Have you seen those?
First of all, the circle is like almost going into a Twilight
Yeah.
zone. I'm like, what in the world? I'm just trying to
this
get
is
to my
dystopian,
destination.
okay.
I'm like, please just give me a card. I'm just like, and I'm like, can you add to the card? Like, well, it's just a
you
lot
can't
of.
add to see. I don't
It's
even
like,
know. I
yeah,
don't even know.
I'm gonna see if I can
annoyed.
hold on to. Oh, if I hold on to my MetroCard, I still won't be able to use it, right? Because it'd be
no, you can
obsolete.
use it now.
Now
Well,
for now, but yeah, it
for
will be
now.
obsolete.
Oh my
Then I'm doing the
gosh.
tap my bank card thing, but then I realized
Oh.
you can't get no transfers off of that.
Yes.
And then it's something where if with Omni, if you do 12 rides, then after
Right, it's
the
supposed to be
12
free.
something is free. I ain't seen
No,
that happen yet.
MTA is literally bananas because I really feel like they're charging you way more than
Robbery.
the $2.90. I'm like, so I go on the bus from the train. I'm like, shouldn't I get a transfer? And the bus driver was like,
Not
yeah.
if you tapping the card.
Right, I'm like, and I asked him, he's like, yeah. And so when
They
it
don't
says
even-
when it says red, I'm like, listen, I don't got no more. I'm just like, and then because you're tapping,
Bring back tokens
yes, that's what came to mind.
and the paper
I'm like,
transfers.
oh my
You
God,
even know about
right.
tokens? Did you? You didn't
Oh man,
experience
I
tokens
literally
at
wish I had a
all,
token.
Not coins.
Oh my
Like,
world! What was
not
it
the coin
$1.25 in the
Yeah,
80s?
the coin payment.
So it was like a
I'm
MTA
like,
coin.
oh my world!
Yeah.
Yes, it
Oh,
was
that's
like,
cool.
You didn't know. All right, yeah, we
you
gotta
drop
find
it.
those for
I
you.
know, right? You drop it in a
Hold the
slot,
token.
and I'm like, you're good to go. Now it's just like you tap this, you swipe that, and still things are not working. And what's the worst? Because of how they constructed the machine now to go through the turnstile, 50,000 people, if you know, just got paid with your $2.90 because people trying to come behind you and run through because now it's wide open. Once you like slide your card, it's a wrap. I'm like, y'all knew this was gonna happen. Like seriously, like
No, but
'cause-
now they got the spiky thing so that you can't jump over the turnstile.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't like hold the sides to jump over the turnstile. They put like spikes there. Like how
Listen.
people do on fences so you can't sit. They did that on the sides of some train stations.
Oh,
on
some
the-
they have
yeah,
it
not all,
implemented.
yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, I definitely see some Olympics in the train station because the way these people be doing like the jump overs, I'm like,
Even talk
whoa.
about your experience with the MTA today. Like what happened on your way here?
Oh my world. Yeah, talk about checking the
Because
post.
that's right. Because that's been happening a lot.
A lot, yeah. On my way here, guys, someone got hit by the train. Sad. And so the cop actually, he was like, typically I won't say this, but because I was like, I wasn't pressing, but I was like, what happened and all that. So he's like, someone got hit, and unfortunately, they detected it was a homeless person. And he's like very like somber about it. So I was like, that was different. So I was like, yeah, that's really sad because not because they're homeless that their life don't matter. It matters 100%. But because I was like, it's happening, like you said, so continuously. I'm like, I think probably because I was probing and saying, did they jump? Did someone
Between that and the
right,
subway
did-
surfing things with these kids.
Right, because did someone jump in front of the train? Did someone push them? So I think because of various questions that I asked, they were like, no, this is what took place. But that in itself is so sad because now, the train, system is shut down and, we couldn't go where we need to go and all that. And it's just sad because I'm like, do they need to build, well, actually, if it's a homeless person, because I think they were walking on the tracks, then they can't prevent that.
Right.
But I really hope they do implement more bars, like between the train and the platform, because
They should have something.
that would be like a
raises
barrier.
little
'Cause
bit.
I think in other countries they have that. That'd be a barrier to like break anything or stop something or prevent or.
That would be smart. Oh, look at you. You should tell them and maybe somebody can invent that.
I'm
and
like-
make all the money that they want. They can put it into
they
that.
need to literally do that because it's been happening more than ever. Like I feel like almost every week you hear someone is like
Yeah,
hit with
set
the
on
train.
fire, hit with a train, set on fire. what subway surfing? Why?
And
Oh
now
my
there's a whole
God.
commercial over the MTA about that.
What, subway surfing,
Like
right?
someone, like a child saying, if subway surfing, don't do it. Kind of like reminding you over the speaker to like not do X, Y, and Z. I'm just like,
I mean, guys, kids, youth, please
yes,
stop.
your
Like,
life
just
matters
don't
and you're
do
not
that.
invincible.
Right.
You don't have 10 lives like cats. If, God
Right.
forbid,
This
one
is
thing
not
happened,
a
that's
video
it.
game where you
Yeah.
could just, you're just going to come back. No.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
over. And
oh my gosh,
that,
there is a game, Subway Surfers. It just dawned on me. I was like, oh yeah, my kids used to play that.
but it's like, guys, don't. There's not enough thrill in the world. There's other ways to get thrills in life. And
Yeah, I would say roller coaster, but oof, God forbid the roller coaster stop in the middle of the air.
no, that's just older people
yeah,
being scared. Try a roller coaster. Stay off of the tops of the trains.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot about the subway surfing, but I think that the state of the trains. I went to the MTA hearing when they raised the price to $2.90.
So you
And-
went to a hearing?
MTA hearing, yeah, I sent you the video.
Oh yeah.
That was the summer I went to
wow.
internship.
Sorry, they didn't show me all that. I sent you the video. But, damn, all right.
Because it was
How was
it was
it?
when
Like-
I spoke. It was when I
Oh yeah.
I was
Express your own
working
viewpoint.
to advocate for specifically for CUNY students to get student fares, but just
Yes.
against the hike in general. And also
That is
congestion
fair.
pricing. We're here, $9 congestion pricing. But I think that the state, also with corporations and all of these big entities, and we're thinking about the evolution of people, we're also thinking about our biggest problem becomes interpersonal relationships. Our biggest problem becomes what we do with ourselves and how we nurture the community that we have. And then coming out of COVID, finding out that we have no community and we have no third places and we have no aunties to hem up our
We have no community.
clothes, and we have to pay to hang out with our friends somewhere. Like it's very I think that it's coming back because we're realizing that, and I think I'm seeing a lot of healthy younger relationships. Talking about the youth, I'm seeing a lot of healthy companionships, and I think that's. I noticed that the other day, and I'm like, okay,
Because
That's
y'all had some real examples of your, people like my age, and you saw what the fuck you don't want it to be, and y'all was like, nope, hell to the no.
That right there. Yeah.
And y'all
yeah.
really stuck with
we're
that
trauma,
shit.
and we're very informed on trauma, but it's also about the community and about the fact that we know, based off our experience in life, our little experience in life, that the relationships you have with people are very important to your health.
Yeah.
And that's another part of it, seeing the good
yeah.
examples or the bad examples, and knowing within our own experience, we need to have a conversation and talk about this so we could squash it and move on, because outside, I want to go outside. I don't want to go outside. And then with the rhetoric online, it's so polarizing. Just naming even the podcasters and just people sharing their opinions and agreeing with opinions, and these big politicians. Everything has just become theater and very dystopian and very dramatic and very no duality. There's no ands. There's always this or that, and there's always something to pick and a label. We talk about that a lot on this podcast, and that all has to do with interpersonal relationships and how we relate to each other. And we're only focusing on that because we don't need to focus on surviving a lion and walking to school and all of that stuff. We're worrying about this because we have brain space, and we need to use that brain space for being visionaries and being creators and nurturing ourselves and nurturing relationships and not being bored. Something like that comes straight out of boredom and lack of care for life. So that's just a symptom of a much larger thing. And the thing that social media has done is make a web between a community, between the, I guess, the lower class and the people in charge and the people doing the things. And even I have faith about the right and the left having a middle ground and meeting that soon, because of just the state, just of the state of the world, and that we're all human. And
I'm ready
like
to
Michael
go somewhere
Jackson
and create utopia like Karl
Oh
Marx.
my gosh, I'm with you.
I want to
I'm
go
with
live
you.
a Karl Marx life. I want to get land, and I forgot
my
what that's
gosh.
called.
Well-
I had researched this before, where you can you have a certain amount of people, and y'all buy land on wherever,
Like some
wherever
compound
place,
or something.
something like that. But basically, you also don't have to follow you create your own rules and you'll be governing yourself.
Right,
type
your own
vibe.
government, your
I'm
own
ready for
system.
that. I'm ready.
okay with that
that's
too
a Rick
because
and Morty episode. We gotta
No,
create that.
Ghana opened their arms for us. I'm thinking about researching there,
Right.
and that's a first for me because I've always been like, I never want to leave Brooklyn. I never want to leave New York, especially New York City. And shit is hitting the fan. And it doesn't feel good. It just
Right.
feels like it's opening my mind and my everything to what does real peace look like, feel like, sound like, all of that to the senses, and it's not looking like that's going to be attainable here. So it's a whole like mind shift for me as well, because that's also out of my comfort zone. I'm a city
Right.
girl. I've never even thought about
Listen,
leaving New York City.
you might have to ride a horse.
Girl, done it once. I did it once in black jeans in Mexico. It was the worst thing to wear. I don't know why the fuck I had that on.
Wow.
Black ass jeans. Anyway, yeah.
That was a hot ride.
It was very hot. Side note, I'm snorting. Side note. So last thing I want to kind of bring up before we wrap it up for today, but this is going great. But boycott or no boycott? Because that's another thing happening now, right? DEI rollbacks, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Place companies are. Well, Trump is like, oh, forget that. Forget anything that has to do with people that are non-white males, right? So that's a big issue. Boycotting. They want to start with Target. Now, here's the dilemma. It's always a dilemma, right? Well, what about the black-owned brands that are currently in Target or places like that? And what's going to happen to those people who worked very hard to get their products and stuff on the shelves in these places and stuff like that? And I'm sorry. I just feel like at this point, like I follow DL Hughley on Instagram. I love to follow him and listen to him and watch his stuff. And I feel like he does. Like this. You all in or you all out when it comes to this. We can't have step this shit. I don't think. Sadly, like do we want these people to get caught in a crossfire? No. But in the same token, like there was, I forget who it was, but I read that there was a black company and she pulled her shit from Target shelves because of the DEI rollbacks. And like, sorry, Tabitha Brown, maybe you have to do the same, and you have a big enough name, Honey Pie, so when I was watching Tabitha Brown say that, watch out for, like, it should be planned when we boycott because how it's going to affect these black-owned brands that are in these stores. However, sis, sorry. Like, you got to roll with these punches, too. You should be as appalled as the rest of us. Not trying to keep your stuff in a store where you know that they are doing this to you and all your people.
Right.
Like now I'm looking at you like, what kind of person are you where you want your products to stay in that store knowing what is currently happening? You understand? Like, so there's just levels to this, and I feel like boycotting is a way because we're in a time where we have to hit people where it hurts, and that's always been the way, and it has worked. And
but people have to be united,
right?
And you got to stay consistent. And actually, with you saying that, I was on someone's page on the gram, and a commenter mentioned like trying to find more like the mom and pop kind of shops and support them, and try to find like, like that the homestead basis kind of like foundation, or try to figure out how to make stuff your own. It's like, I need to figure out how to make bread. I was like, okay, I can make my products. I can make oils. I could, when you said like you don't have the aunt that could sew something, well, auntie's over here. I could, I don't have the machine, but I could use needle and thread. It's just like just really taking care of the fabric, because even that I'm really getting into like the materials that I have. How can I take care of what I currently have? And even like researching that is like, if you have wool, how to take care of it, or silk, or all those fabrics that's more sustainable over time versus polyester and, all the other bad stuff that's not good. And researching that, realizing some fabrics that you wear could innately affect your health, which I didn't even know that. I was like, oh my world. Now, granted, say you spend $100 on a silk shirt, that's going to last over years versus like a polyester or acrylic, which, acrylic tends to be like a softer fabric, so people tend to use that a lot in a lot of elements. But the goal is if you can have more of the natural fiber and little of the synthetic ones, like say more silk, cashmere, merino wool, cotton, and little of the other things, then okay, there could be a happy balance. But in taking in buying those materials, like knowing how to take care of them so they can preserve and last you over time. And so just knowing how to do a lot of things, by yourself. Like we have natural hair, like we're not going to the salons, and we can, do very minimal when it comes to that, and not knocking anyone that goes another route. But listen, the times are timing, and it's like you need to figure out how to be more hands-on with all that stuff, like probably wearing minimal makeup or keeping your nails, whatever the case might be, but just really
not
being
me,
more.
No. Not the nails, not the nails. Oh, no.
Improvise, figure out something, right? But actually, my niece who's 13 is learning how to do nails. So we're her guinea pigs. Like she's practicing on us.
Well,
so
all right. Hey, tell her to come see me.
All about trading and bartering.
Right. Back in what we used to do, right? The bartering system. Okay, you know how to do fix a roof. I know how to
I'm with
fix
that.
a fence.
Definitely.
And you really utilizing each other's skills. It's like, okay, how to do oils over here, whatever the case might be. And the AI, I'm like, okay, I don't know, but if you know how to
somebody will, yes, somebody for everything.
So, right, exactly. And so really tapping into that, because the way of the world, we just don't know, and the unknown is before us, and we just have to figure out how to be prepared for it. Whether it's like stacking up or even like the simplest thing, like first aid kit. Like, do we have those things in our homes?
I talked to my family about a generator, so that's something that
and then the next thing we have money, water ionizer, water, alkaline water.
Oh,
yes. Water is clean.
Yes.
That's the next thing.
Yes.
And that would be perfect. Like you have your land. I mean, compost and what's the skylight thing? For getting the sunlight
panels.
Right. Solar panels. Right. Exactly. So it's going to have to be a lot of that going forward, because I know that's my mindset. I'm like literally tunnel vision right now. I'm like.
So boycotting? No boycotting. Pressure? No. You'll think about it?
Yeah,
okay,
I will think about it, but I definitely will keep in mind of just lessening what I purchase. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it goes back to just the clothes that I'm wearing. I've been very big on buying secondhand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people now.
Yeah. But be, mindful, because I love this app, Mercari. It's like, oh my gosh.
I know.
So I'm just like a stickler, because I would literally zoom into the picture. I'm like, if the background look a little dirty, I'm like, no, I'm not buying it. So I'm just
nutty.
But yeah, sustainability in that sense, like buying secondhand. This pants right here and these boots, secondhand. And clean and all that kind of jazz. But yeah.
All right.
So boycotting, right? Because I
gotta wrap up soon.
Yeah, I know. But I would just want to say that I don't understand why it's a conversation about whether or not to do it when we see how dire it's needed. I don't understand why we're talking about these businesses. Like, we're talking about, oh, they're rolling it back. Dude, it was in place in the first place. And I didn't even like that fact. Like it's
that
a
it was even
program
needed. Yeah.
that
that part.
like fuck off. Like that's like the fact that it needs to be that way, and people are like, but what about the people that were that have their products there? Cut out the middleman. People in the film industries, you're seeing all these celebrities open these production companies. Why? Because they have their own money and they know that they don't want to deal with the bureaucracy and the ditties of the experience and need to do it themselves. We as a people are realizing we need to do it ourselves. So this example is just an example of that. Buy from small, you get better stuff and more care.
That's so
and
true.
and just finding the mom and pop shops is about social media and using marketing tools and getting the word out and being in the community. So it's like, oh, why should I boycott Target? Like, I love Target stuff and they, I want to I want to support the people. It's like, no, like build a website, focus on shipping. Like, let's cut out these people that need our talent. Okay, because let's talk about how as Black people, we need, because the thing about Tabitha Brown is like, maybe she feels like she needs that. This could be a sellout thing, like maybe you're selling out, but maybe you need to have that in order to have your security. Sorry, back to self-validation. In order to have the safety, as Black people in this society, once we get our big break, it's like we can't lose that and we're not secure. We're way more powerful now, okay? Our ancestors had to deal with that on a limbo. We don't have to be limbo. We need to be angry, okay? And I'm not saying violent, but people are being violent. And those are the people that are doing things. So we need to do things in a way that's smart and not question ourselves. Oh, is this right for this small amount of people? Trolley problem. Like, let's get over this small hump and not be distracted by this conversation that's not even supposed to be a conversation. We need to boycott. So we can.
Thank you, Kayla. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
Snaps on that.
yes, seriously. Well
Okay,
said.
with my blue nails. I love the blue Thank you.
Yes.
So that was great, ladies.
Yes.
So
First one
takeaways.
Yes.
Pop, pop, pop. Time for takeaways. All right. My takeaway: the pulse, state of the world. Keep your like-minded individuals close to you. Keep your head on straight. Focus on the inner. This is the time to focus on the inner, not the outer. Focus on the world within. Focus on the body. Focus on the mental health. Focus on the spiritual health. And when you first focus on that, that will allow you to do the pushing forward that you need to do to reach the goals that you want to reach. That's my takeaway.
My takeaway is, as you are going inward, to be so relentless in your kindness and compassion towards yourself, and relentless in what you deserve in this life. And that's every single thing that pops up in your mind that is not harming. It shouldn't harm anyone, we shouldn't, be thinking negative things, to be worsening. We should be wanting to better our spaces
With
and
good
better
intentions.
ourselves
All
with good intentions. But like, we have been so taught, you have to understand how important repetition is and how much is out of your control. And even when I'm having an intense feeling, I'm always like, this is a chemical imbalance in my body happening right now. This is something happening internally, a process that will pass, that is temporary, and that I can accept is happening, or I can accept that I'm feeling this way, and I can accept that, and be happy when thinking about my power in the situation, when thinking about the fact that I felt this emotion, and then I still acted in a way that is being most authentic to myself. And being so, I wrote in my notes that I am going to love fearlessly and endlessly. And as much like hurt or being scared of like being hurt from another person is not going to be something that stops me from relentlessly loving. And you need that for yourself, and you need that for a community to be able to build that vision.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah, there are a few words that came to mind. I would say get in line. Get in line, like what that means or whatever it takes to get in line. Meaning get yourself in line, because it might mean sacrifice. It might mean, like just basically not get into your head, like to the point where you were saying about procrastination. I remember this video I watched. It was like, decluttering is delayed decision. And decluttering, yes, we declutter things, but also decluttering your mind from those things that are not beneficial to you or anyone that's around you. So it's like, get rid of that. And the longer you stay in that mindset, the longer it would take for you to get to the goal that you need to get to. So like, get yourself in line. And to your point, like being compassionate, because yes, we are at a point in society and personally, honestly, where people that can give you grace, compassion, understanding. Let me tell you, those words probably are used often, but it's so needed and it's so necessary, especially when someone's going through something. It's like that hug, that like, girl, I got you, or you can do it. Like you have their friend, like, get up. You're more than this. I see where you can go. You have all the potential in you. It's like you need those individuals and those, like you said, those like-minded people around you to push you and propel you into the next, phase of your life. So yeah, I would definitely say those elements, like get in line, declutter your mind, don't delay whatever things that you need to attack, goals, dreams, desire. Do it fearfully, if you're nervous, whatever, all the things that come, with going after something that you're unknown of what would come from it. And because with doing so, it really builds confidence. It really shows you what you're capable of. And it's essential, really, to growth and not staying stagnant. So, be compassionate on the way up to the journey, and when you get there, do not look down on those that are trying to get there, and don't think you are above it, because God forbid you will get back to that level right there.
Drop you down.
And on the way up, treat people nicely, because you never know, you might need those individuals help along.
Learn the lessons.
Yeah, learn the lessons for sure.
Learn the lessons.
So,
thank you so much. This has been the Bridge by 3. We have checked the pulse.
yes.
And we will see you soon.
Bye.
Take care.